If you take a history of the Russian Revolution off of your local library shelf, you'll invariably read a section that sums up the background and personality of the revolution's top leader, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. And there's a good chance that, to illustrate Lenin's austere and ruthless character, the book will pull the following comment from his vast collection of quotes. "I can't listen to music too often. It affects my nerves. I want to say silly things. I want to say silly things and pat the heads of those who can create such beauty, although they live in a filthy hell." Well, gosh, that is definitely one hell of a killjoy, party pooper, Debbie Downer, rain on your parade kind of thing to say, now isn't it? Yes, it is, but I'm going to try to put that quote and the rest of what Lenin actually said into some context. Lenin loved music, but the path that he chose gradually made him feel like he had to swear off anything that hinted at tenderness or kindness, even though on a personal level, he still did things that were tender and kind, at least for his close friends. So here's the story and background of Lenin's "I can't listen to music" quote. It was 1920, and Russia was recovering from a brutal civil war between Lenin's Bolsheviks and the White Army, a coalition of forces opposed to Bolshevik rule. By the beginning of that year, the Whites were in retreat, but Russia was wrecked. A famine would soon kill millions of people. One day, the writer Maxim Gorky visited Lenin at his Moscow office to make a plea for greater support for writers and scientists in the soon-to-be-created Soviet Union. Gorky was, of course, a famous playwright, novelist, and advocate. A year later, he would pen a plea published in the New York Times asking the world for humanitarian aid to stop the Russian famine. Gorky and Lenin reminisced about various writers in Ukraine and Siberia. And then, according to Gorky's memoirs, a young pianist named Isai Dobroven showed up and played some music for them. Rachmaninoff, Mozart, those kind of guys. Then Lenin asked Dobroven to play Ludwig van Beethoven's Piano Sonata No. 23 in F minor, popularly known as the Appassionata. It's a very beautiful and even thrilling piece, very difficult to play. The sonata takes a little less than half an hour to perform. At the end of the performance, Lenin sat for several minutes in silence, according to Gorky. He was deeply moved. Then, on another occasion, Lenin visited the home of Gorky's first wife, Yekaterina Peshkova, and the same pianist performed the Appassionata there as well. After that rendition, Lenin uttered these often-quoted words. "I know nothing better than the Appassionata, and could listen to it every day. What astonishing, superhuman music. It always makes me proud, perhaps naively so, to think that people can work such miracles." Gorky wrote that Lenin then narrowed his eyes and smiled rather sadly, adding, "But I can't listen to music very often. It affects my nerves. I want to say silly things and pat the heads of those who can create such beauty, although they live in a filthy hell. One can't pat anyone on the head nowadays. They might bite your hand off. They ought to be beaten on the head, beaten mercilessly, though we pursue ideals opposed to any violence against people. What a hellishly difficult job." Lenin, of course, was referring to his job, running the world's first communist country, 8.6 million square miles, containing 135 million people. At one of their meetings, Lenin told Gorky that having a carpet helps keep a house warm. Then he had a carpet sent over to Gorky's home. I'm going to go out on a limb here and suggest that Lenin continued to listen to music, even after making those remarks. In any event, he died in 1924 after suffering a series of strokes. His Appassionata pianist left the Soviet Union in 1922 and became a citizen of Norway. Maxim Gorky died in 1936.